Welcome to this 20-minute moves workout for the lower body in the follicular phase. This is a high energy phase where we are trending towards elevated estrogen, but we're still kind of in the low hormone territory at the beginning. So you should have good recovery times and a lot of energy to put into some muscle building work to move the needle toward your fitness goals. In today's workout, we're using just 2 exercises, just 2, to get a well-rounded and balanced workout for the lower body. We're targeting each side independently, so this one's great for postural balance and for developing strength in each leg individually. Before you get started, make sure that you have an elevated surface, something like a chair or a bench. You don't want it to be too high, but it needs to be high enough that it gives you a little bit of challenge. You also want to make sure that it's not going to move around on you. You'll also need a set of dumbbells. My suggestion would be to go as heavy as feels comfortable on single-sided exercises. So it might not be your heaviest leg day weight. I'm using 20-pound dumbbells, something that can be sustainable for the single-sided work and the high volume that we're compressing into just this 20-minute workout. So get those things and let's get started. I'll get our timer going. We're going to start with a very brief warm-up to get the legs and joints ready to move the weight around. So in about 20 seconds, we'll start with an air squat and a leg lift. So you can start by just kind of waking your body up, maybe a few side bends, a bit of rotation, just something to enliven the spine. And then in 10 seconds, we're starting with a squat and a lateral leg lift. So you're simply going to come down and lift that leg out to the side. Let's begin in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Squat and a leg lift. So here we're looking to activate the glutes and the legs while also starting to tone the joints. So we're getting that deep flexion in the knees and the ankles, kind of warming everything in the lower body up for the work that is ahead. We've got about 10 more seconds here. We're just doing 30 seconds of each of these warming patterns before we pick up the weights. 2 and 1. We're switching now to a lateral lunge glide. Take the feet wide, come down, slide it across, stay nice and low, and come back up. Then go back down the other way. Slide and come back up. We come down, glide over, and come back up. Down and across. We've got about 10 more seconds, and then we're switching to our TikTok lunge. So that's simply stepping forward and back with the same side, and then we'll switch. Let's begin our TikTok lunge. Make sure you have a little bit of room to move around here. So we walk forward and lunge back. Step it forward and lunge back. So here, working on kind of that progressive balance on one side where you have that period in the middle where you're balancing on one leg. You can exaggerate it by kind of hugging the knee into the chest. And we'll switch sides now. So switching to the other leg, stepping forward, stepping back. After this, we have a very quick transition to our Bulgarian split squat to a single leg deadlift. You're going to take your weights and bring your back foot up onto that elevated surface. I'll walk you through it, but it's going to be a quick transition. Breathe here, feel that elevated heart rate, a bit of heat, and shake it out. Let's get started with our weighted workout now. So you can take your weights down in front of your elevated surface. I like to start with the non-dominant leg, put the back foot flat on that surface, so shoelace side down, and you want your knees to be more or less in the same plane as you're standing, so that when you come down, you can bend the knee back toward that elevated surface. Grab your weights. We're going now. So Bulgarian split squat, we're coming down and back up. Imagine sitting back toward your elevated surface and keep the shoulders upright. So leaning more forward, that'll create more of a quad focus. We're looking to target the glutes here. You want to be able to lighten the load in that back foot so that you're driving the effort with that front heel. We've got 10 more seconds. Here we go. And then quick transition to side 2. 4, 3, 2, and 1. I recommend just going right into it, switching sides because we have just quick 10-second rest. 2 and 1. Squat it down. Come back up. Adjust as you need to. So the first round might feel a little bit challenging simply because we're getting the mechanics down, kind of getting used to the movement pattern. And then we'll be able to really work hard in the next few rounds. We're here for 15 more seconds on this second side. And then again, a quick 10-second transition. Breathe. So deep inhales as you come down, forceful exhales as you rise. 2, 1. Rest. 10 seconds, and then we're switching back to the other side. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room here. 3, 2, and 1. Squat it down. Get your leg in position and begin. Down and up. You can always have a lower surface. Say you're working with a staircase. You can take the toes down rather than having the back foot flat. So you can bring the toes up onto that surface. The higher your surface is, the more cumbersome that alignment can be in that body position. And breathe. We're here. 4, 5, 2, and 1. Switching sides. Back to the first side. So this is round 2 of 3. Get your leg into position. Grab your weights. Let's begin. Down and up. I mentioned these are fast transitions, and this is also a very challenging exercise. So don't sweat it. If you're breathless, if you're already starting to sweat, that is part of the follicular phase effort. And we know it's just 20 minutes of that high exertion, higher intensity. We're not here for a marathon workout. We're getting it in quickly so that we can fit it into any schedule. Set those weights down just for a moment. Switch sides. This is round 3, our last round of these. Grab your weights, set your foot up, and let's begin. Breathe. If you need to slow down the pace, that is totally okay. You can hear it in my voice, that breathless zone. You know that you're kind of in the moderate to high intensity where you're having to breathe through the mouth to deliver the oxygen. And we're creating kind of a metabolic shift to support this phase. With the trend toward high estrogen. 3, 2, and 1. Set the weights down, swap the legs, get into position for the last round of these Bulgarian split squats. And begin. Take it down and up. Quality reps, start to finish. So we're in that breathless zone where we know we're in moderate to high intensities. So we're well above 60% of our max heart rate here. And again, it's just for a short period of time. This is a great format for the follicular phase. We've got higher energy, but we're trending toward that metabolic shift where the body's starting to prefer fatty acids for fuel. 3, 2, and 1. Set your weights off to the side. We've got a quick transition here into our first round of Tabata. So we're going in 3, 2, 1 for a 20-second rest. A little bit of extra rest in between to let you catch your breath before the Tabata round. So our Tabata movement is a squat with a toe touch. We're going to go in 5 seconds here. You want to make it quick. 20-second working intervals, 10 seconds of rest. Here we go. Squat, toe touch. Go as fast as you can with good form. And if the straight leg is too much, take knee to elbow. Keep it nice and tight, nice and quick. So you want to be maxing out in each 20-second interval. They're fast. and rest. And then we have 10 seconds. So that's the Tabata format, 20 on, 10 off. They're both quick. 2 and 1. Here we go again. We have 4 rounds of this for 2 minutes total to get your heart rate going, to get that high intensity through body weight. So we have high intensity with weight and then high intensity without. Rest. 2 more rounds of this, and then we have a little bit of a break before we switch to our second weighted exercise. 2, 1. Let's go. Squat it down and toe touch. Toe touch. Make it quick. Make it smooth. Again, you can be omitting the straight leg and just keeping the knee bent if you wish. 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. We've got our last round coming up. I know you're like me, gasping for breath. Manage it where you can. Let's begin. Last round. Nice and quick. Can you bring the power here for this last 20-second interval? It goes quick. Stay with it. You are strong. And rest. 30 seconds on the clock. Our next movement is combining 2 patterns. So we're going to be doing a side step up, and then as you come down, you're lowering into a curtsy lunge. You'll have your weights just like we did for the first exercise, down by your sides, and you can always drop to one weight if you need to. So we keep the feet facing the long edge of the mat. We step up, down, and to a curtsy. Get ready to grab your weights. Come into position. We'll go in just 5 more seconds here. We'll step that outside foot onto the elevated surface and begin. We step it up. Full extension at the top. Come down, step that leg behind you. Step it up. You might need a little bit of extra effort there to get this pattern into your body. Out to the side. Here we go. This is working unilateral movement patterns to address instability or imbalance from one side to the other. So perhaps you have a dominant side. This forces each leg to work independently. And rest. I'll be turning to face away from you for the second side here. You can set your weights down for a moment, and then we're right back in. Step it up. If you like, you can have the weights on your shoulders, if that helps them get a little bit more clearance onto that elevated surface. Maybe the side hold can get in your way, so you can hold them at the shoulders. Step up, full extension into a curtsy lunge. This workout, short and sweet, with plenty of challenge. Step it up. Last 3, 2, and 1. Take a short break to set those weights down just for a moment. Shake out your grip, and we're right back in for round 2. Here we go. Let's begin. Take it up. Extend. Cross it back. Bend that front knee. So we're targeting both sides independently. The side step, we get inner and outer thigh, and then we switch. We get inner and outer on that opposite leg. Rather than pushing with the bottom foot, we are driving with that elevated heel. I'm approaching that stuck point, that point of fatigue, and rest. Maybe a little early there, but that point where you can't quite get one more rep, that can be your end point for that round. So just keep that in mind. If you're hitting, let's begin. If you're hitting your failure point, don't try to squeeze in another rep, but just let that be your end point for today. Cross it behind, step it up, and behind. Here we go. This is round 2. Almost there. 15 more seconds. Down and behind. Up. Last 3, 2, and 1. Set those weights down. We've got our final round coming up. Excuse me. Going in 2, 1. Step it up and behind. Back behind you. So my previous cycle, I had a bit of a head cold going on, a bit of sinus congestion, and I think it's still lingering. So you might hear that in my voice, in my breath. Always feel better after a good sweat session though. I find that I always tend to catch these little head colds during ovulation when the body's defenses are a little bit lower, rest. So to maximize the chances of pregnancy, your immune function gets suppressed. You might notice that you have that pattern begin of getting a little bit under the weather during ovulation. So even now in my follicular phase, still feeling that carryover. Last strong round here. I know those legs are burning. Stay with it. Stay strong, even if that means slowing the pace or dropping some weight to maintain high quality reps from start to finish. Last rep here. 3, 2, 1. Set those weights down. We've got a final round of Tabata to finish it off. In about 20 seconds, we'll be moving into skaters. So catch your breath and do what you can to really leverage that quicker recovery that comes during the follicular phase. So you should feel maybe getting closer to your baseline in that quick transition period. We're going in 3, 2, 1 with skater hops. Hop to the side and hop. Your low impact option is just a step with a cross. Otherwise, you're getting some hang time from side to side. Quick intervals here, just 20 seconds and rest with 10 seconds in between. I'm gonna give myself a little bit more space. Going in 3, 2, 1, here we go. Take up room. How wide can you step side to side? So this cardio burst, this conditioning burst complements that unilateral movement pattern in the curtsy lunge and the side step up rest. You might be feeling that in your inner thighs at this moment. 2 more rounds. Here we go. Hop it out and back. Take up space. Step wide. So really feel both the stretch and the power in the inner and outer thighs. Coming up on our rest. Final round of these. And then it's all cool down. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. Give it your all. Hop it out and back. Cross behind you. You got it. Back and across. Keep your gaze lifted. Try not to let your head dip below your heart. And 2, 1. And get a big breath. We've got slightly longer transition here before we enter our cool down. About 20 seconds on the clock. So this should give your heart enough time to come back to just normally elevated rather than your highest intensity. So we're just going to be alternating lateral lunges here in 3, 2, 1. So side to side. You can keep the heart elevated rather than bringing the hands down toward the ground. So we want to be mindful of that high intensity and not drop it down too fast. So this little bit of fluid movement can help kind of guide the body back down. We're here for 3 more seconds. Then we're going to turn the heels in, toes out. So come up into your sumo stance. Just big belly breaths. Here we go. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Almost like that coffee press action, nice and slow with the hands, like you're extracting the best flavors from your breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, big breath. Last 3 seconds here. Take it all the way down. Come to a wall or even your elevated surface. I'll use my chair here to demonstrate. We're coming into figure 4. So just crossing an ankle over the knee, resting your elbows to dial that top knee open. So we worked a lot of glutes, a lot of inner thigh, and this will help release those muscles here. We're going to hold here for 5 more seconds. Notice your breath as it comes back down to kind of that more neutral zone. Switch sides, cross an ankle over knee. Use the elbows to encourage that knee open. 20 minutes, high intensity, strength work, power, conditioning. You did it all. You crushed it. And you fit this self-care into your day. That is something to be celebrated. And I hope you take a moment to do so. Last 2 and 1. If you find that your heart rate is still very, very elevated, you might continue to enjoy some low intensity, kind of fluid movement just to help guide your heart rate back down. But this is where we part. This is the end of our 20-minute moves workout. Let's enjoy a big breath together. Inhale and exhale, sigh it out. You did it. Thank you so much for showing up, for sweating with me. I know you're feeling it too, and for letting your body be moved.